Hey, good morning, everyone. How you doing? Lee Karaoke with the Unemployment Dojo. In 2008, the world got hit by a serious calamity. It wasn't a physical calamity. It was more like an economic calamity. We got hit by what is today now called a recession. Everyone refers to it as a recession. In my perspective, I think it's a depression. Now, how great it is, more data still needs to be collected, but it is a depression. Now, what drove me to start the unemployment dojo was one time I remember after I was actually in line going to a career fair in Raleigh, North Carolina by Biospace. And they only had like five companies, five, six companies. And the attendance was up the charts. It was off the roof. It had over 250 attendees for this career fair. And I was standing in line getting ready to pass on my resume, and there was an individual that was talking about, he had worked for Wyeth. He was an older guy, I could tell, stocky guy. Um, he had worked for Wyeth for about 10 years or more. I'm not sure exactly the duration, but he had a PhD, and he was out of a job. You know, this is a man that's in a hub for biotechnology, which is Raleigh, North Carolina. With an education, no doubt about that. He had his PhD, and he was out of a job because of a merger between Pfizer and Wyeth. And I thought to myself, if this guy really, hasn't, he's been doing everything the system had told him to do. Go to school, work very hard. He probably did everything he could to keep his job, but situations beyond him, business situations actually, uh, all of a sudden, made him unemployed. And I thought about it, and if he's just one individual, and he was talking about he had a family, he didn't know what to do, and it, put it like this, it was a sad situation. The other day I checked on the news, a 73-year-old man, no prior convictions, no criminal record, no nothing, no, decides to rob a bank so he could pay his mortgage. And these are serious situations. I mean, we're in a serious situation, and I felt like, you know, I need to do something that is greater than who I am. I lost my aunt in January, you know, January 18th, and she stood up for what she believed in. I remember as kids that was my mom's sister, and she if she believed in something, she would stand up despite the fact that everybody else was taking the other side. She would stand up and still, regardless of what everybody was supporting, if she didn't feel it, she wouldn't she wouldn't support it. She believed in her core beliefs, and she was an outstanding lady. And I'm thinking, what better way to honor her than to do the thing that is most that I'm most passionate about, a true reflection of who I am, and that's helping people. I don't like to see people suffer, despite the fact that suffering is a manifestation of our mindsets, of what we're going through mentally, of what we're experiencing internally. It's a manifestation on the external world. So I started the Unemployment Dojo first and foremost to create an avenue where you can do something. You know better, you should do better, and you should desire better. This is supposed to be a forum where people could come and talk about their experiences. Maybe you feel helpless right now. You feel like there's no avenue to turn to. But your story, you put in your story here, bringing it to the Unemployment Dojo, is one way of taking the situation into your hands. Governments have failed us. And I'm not pointing fingers at Obama administration or Bush administration. I don't get into politics like that. But at the same time, you know, the government is us, individuals. We have accepted a doctrine of things to happen to us, you know, dictated by some people in power. And I think it's high time that we start taking this situation in our own hands. Start doing for you and not being egocentric. I mean, help the person next to you and create that karma going on and on and on. And in the long run, we'll be not only a conscious people, we'll be a people that that is empowered, you know, that is empowered by our kindly thoughts. But for the long term, we've been we've been greedy. We've been really greedy, and that's why we're in the situation we're in. You know, you wanted nothing for nothing. You know, you wanted something for nothing, really. You know, you wanted the American dream of owning homes you can't really afford, and you know, misuse credit, instant gratification. I mean, there's a countless number of things that we did as individuals, me included, that we could have done differently that could have helped us avoid this situation. All enough, we're not gonna wallow and cry and you know and 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 let that situation dictate the situation. We can change. So that was the whole purpose of creating the unemployment dojo. And secondly, I'm sure there's someone who has an experience who doesn't know where to turn to. Just by putting your story here, you know, we could take these stories and take them to the masses so people can. Because sometimes I feel like, you know, some people don't really know how bad the situation is, you know. And I'm not here to be an advocate of just putting out the bad and rejoicing that there's bad situations. No, but we have to be realistic and accept the bad situation or whatever situation, accept it as a mistake on our part, on our realities, on our convictions, you know, and then see what we can do just by even giving a story. That story that you're giving could change a lot. It could mean a lot. You know, it could change someone else's perspective. It could inspire someone else to start doing something. But you have to bring your story, and that's the whole reason I started the unemployment dojo. Dojo meaning training. And the only way we can train is if we make this place an interactive place, you know, almost like a forum where I'm not the only one that's talking. I don't like to talk that much, to be honest. I do like to talk, but you know, I'd rather be in a conversation than just talk by myself, run my mouth, because that's very one-sided, and that could be almost equated to being egocentric. So that was the whole reason of creating the unemployment dojo. And the second reason, really, why I'm giving out this story is also to show you that you have experienced the most powerful methods of branding, which is storytelling. Until tomorrow, take it easy, think about it, and give me a story. Peace.